Have you ever stopped to think about the life you're living right now? You see, if you don't create your own routine, society will assign one to you. If you don't create your own purpose, it will be given to you. And if you don't create your own career path, guess what? Society will tell you what it should be. People are too quick to adopt structures created by others to navigate life's uncertainty. But what if you stopped letting life decide for you? What if you took control of your routine, your goals, and the direction you're heading in? Throughout this video, I'll show you how to stop drifting and how to stop playing the game that society has set up for you. By the end, you'll have the tools to create a life of your own design, one that leads to true fulfillment. Without a routine, your life will slowly start to unravel. You might think that not having a routine gives you freedom, but in reality, you're simply not following your own rules. You're playing by someone else's. It's easy to fall into the trap of mindlessly adopting the daily grind of life, thinking that's the only way forward. But that's exactly how you lose control. A routine isn't something that restricts you. It's something that sets you free. You see, life is full of uncertainties, but with a routine, you take back the power to define your day. The longer you stick to it, the better you get. And here's the secret. When you get better, you often forget the rules you followed to get there, and yet you keep winning. But this isn't just about efficiency or getting things done. It's about peace of mind. A routine brings order to the chaos. Without rules, there is no game. And without a game, there is no way to win. Most people are stuck chasing goals that aren't even theirs. They're running someone else's race, stuck in the routines and careers society has prescribed for them. If that sounds familiar, let me tell you, it's time to stop. You need a purpose that is yours. Without that, you're simply playing a game designed by someone else. You can do this. I'll show you how. But it starts by accepting that suffering is part of life. You have to choose what you want to suffer for every single day, because your goals are the axis of your suffering. Here's the reality check. Suffering isn't a bad thing. It's inevitable. But it's your choice to determine what you suffer for. And most people are suffering for goals they didn't choose. Goals that aren't aligned with their true self. What's worse is that they don't even know how to stop. But here's the key takeaway. If you start building a routine around goals you choose for yourself, you'll start seeing that suffering as something that empowers you. This shift will change everything. At this point, you might be thinking, that sounds great, but how do I get started? The answer is simpler than you think. You need to understand that identity and goals are intricately linked. You don't need motivation when you become the person who takes action. You see, a bodybuilder doesn't need motivation to eat healthy because it's a part of their identity. A gamer doesn't need discipline to play games all day because that's who they are. Similarly, an employee doesn't need motivation to show up to work because their identity is built around it. It all comes down to identity. When you identify with a goal, your mind naturally takes action. This is what successful people understand. They've created a new identity that revolves around their goals, their vision of success. And because of that, they no longer need motivation or discipline. They just take action. Now think about your own goals. What is your identity based on? If you've been living someone else's story, it's time to change the narrative. To create the life you want, you must first define who you want to be. Your identity must align with the goals you're choosing, and that will give you the strength to move forward. If this is starting to make sense to you, then I encourage you to keep watching. The journey to reclaiming your purpose is just getting started, and by the end of this video, you'll have the knowledge and tools to break free from the cycle of societal programming. Stick with me, and let's design the life you truly deserve. Let me ask you a genuine question. Is there anything more important than this? Or is everything you're doing right now simply a distraction? Now, I know some of you might be thinking, Dan, I just want to enjoy myself. I want to do what I want. But do you really understand what enjoyment is? I'm not talking about pleasure here. I'm talking about real, lasting enjoyment. The kind that comes with growth, progress, and creation. Humans have an innate drive to expand, transcend, and evolve. Enjoyment isn't about doing what you want in the moment. It's about what aligns with your nature, the desire to improve yourself. You might think you know what you want, but what you think you want is often driven by your ego. When you strip away the layers of that ego, you'll find what your true nature is pushing you toward: growth and self-improvement. So, I'm not here to give you some scientific approach to habit formation. I'm not going to bombard you with fancy theories. Instead, I'm going to show you the only real way to make behavior change seamless over time. The first step is to align your future with a holistic goal. Now, if you're not familiar with the term holistic, it means considering the whole picture, looking at everything together rather than focusing on one small part of your life. So, when you're facing a problem, say, financial issues, that might seem like your biggest challenge right now, but in reality, it's just one piece of the puzzle. Money isn't the only thing that needs fixing. In fact, all aspects of your life are interconnected. To truly solve your money problems, you might need to change how you approach every domain of your life. It's about fundamentally transforming who you are. Goals can't exist without an awareness of a problem. Your perspective, how you see the world, shapes what you perceive as important. Take someone with money problems, for example. They might see a new job opportunity as a potential solution, but someone who has self-generated goals might view that same situation as an opportunity to start their own business. Same world, but completely different perspectives. This plays out in everything we do. Whether it's reading a book, be it a Bible, a self-help book, or even fiction, the problems and goals that frame your perspective determine what you take away from that book. Two people can read the exact same book, and they'll highlight completely different passages because what they need from that book will be different. If you're a creator, whether it's writing, making videos, or developing products, you need to understand that people perceive things based on their own problems and goals. The way you frame your work will determine how well it resonates with your audience. In marketing and sales and in creating, it's all about understanding your audience's problems and goals. If you can solve a problem or provide clarity, you've just created a meaningful connection. If you're a creator, whether it's writing, making videos, or developing products, you need to understand that people perceive things based on their own problems and goals. The way you frame your work will determine how well it resonates with your audience. In marketing and sales and in creating, it's all about understanding your audience's problems and goals. If you can solve a problem or provide clarity, you've just created a meaningful connection. But to get there, the first step in changing your life is becoming brutally honest with yourself about the problems that are driving you to want change. If you're reading this, then chances are you have problems. And that's okay, everyone does. The biggest issue most people face, though, is the lack of awareness about their problems. So, here's what I want you to do. Take a moment to sit down, let your mind wander, and imagine the worst-case scenario for your life. Picture where you're headed if you keep doing what you've been doing. What does that future look like? Use that as a grounding point. Anchor yourself in that vision of what you don't want, and then use it to propel yourself toward what you do want. This will become your big-picture goal, one that encompasses every area of your life. Next, we need to bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And that's where self-education and skill acquisition come in. So, step number 2. Treat daily self-education as an absolute necessity. Now, I'm not saying that schools are useless. They're important in many ways, but they only teach you a fraction of what's out there. They train you in specific areas like chemistry or literature, but they don't show you the interconnectedness of the world, the bigger picture. Without self-education, you're just like everyone else, getting fed the same narrow information and goals that society has designed for you. Self-education expands your mind. It opens you up to new perspectives, new ideas, and new ways of thinking. It keeps your brain engaged and fuels you with energy. It's what gives you the knowledge to act with clarity and purpose toward your goals. Over time, self-education conditions your mind to run on new systems. Think of it this way. Building a business is a skill, just like learning to walk. When you first try to walk, it's hard. It takes time. It takes practice. And it takes falling down. But eventually, it becomes second nature. You don't think about it. You just do it. The same goes for business. The more you learn and apply your knowledge, the easier it gets. The problem is that most people skip this part. They don't set aside time to read, to learn, to push themselves mentally. They don't dedicate time to expanding their minds, and that's where they fall short. Remember, A skill is built through practice. And business, just like walking or playing a sport, is a skill. You need to put in the time to learn and apply your knowledge in real-world situations. And yes, it will be hard at first, but that's where the growth happens. Over time, as you practice and educate yourself, you'll be amazed at how much you've grown. And when you reach that point, success will no longer feel like a struggle. It will feel seamless. As you've seen, my routine isn't just about ticking off tasks mechanically. It's a true strategy for maximizing productivity, creativity, and well-being. Over time, I've learned that the key to a productive life is to constantly test what works best for you and never allow your routine to become stagnant. Evolution is essential, and we should never stop looking for ways to improve. It's not about having a magic formula, but rather finding small improvements that seamlessly fit into your daily life. I truly encourage you to take bits and pieces of my routine and experiment with them to see what works for you. Test small changes, like a 30-minute walk in the morning or a 90-minute focused work session. Who knows what that could do for your productivity? The important thing to remember here is that change and adaptation are crucial. Don't get stuck in what you know. Challenge yourself to change your routine if needed, in order to discover new ways to achieve your goals. Instead of following a rigid schedule, let it evolve according to your objectives and the phases of your life. One of the biggest insights I can share with you today is that, throughout this journey, I realized the greatest results don't come from a rigid, unchanging routine, but from flexibility and the willingness to adapt. Experimenting, testing, and tweaking is the secret to avoiding the trap of a boring, unproductive routine. All you have to do is start. Start with a morning walk or dedicate a few hours to your highest priority, like I do with my 90 minutes of deep work every day. Sometimes, it's necessary to take breaks and care for your mental health, whether that's through walks, reading, or even having a casual conversation with a friend. The balance between intense work and effective rest is what will allow you to maintain a high level of productivity over time. I've realized that when I give my mind space to relax, whether it's during a meal, a walk, or a simple pause, my creativity and focus improve dramatically. Don't forget that the key is consistency, but also flexibility. The fact that my routine isn't perfect or fixed makes it more sustainable in the long run. And don't feel bad if you need to adjust your routine every now and then. Life is unpredictable, and that's why our ability to adapt to changes will define our success. Never stop seeking improvements. That's a sign of growth, and growth is essential for anyone looking to achieve great things. I know many of you have similar goals to mine, and I want to encourage you to keep experimenting, adjusting, and being flexible with your own methods. Don't get stuck in one way of living or working. Try different approaches until you find what truly makes sense for you. If you can take just a little bit of this routine into your life, I'm confident you'll see significant changes. The most important thing is to start and never stop improving. Now, before I wrap up, I've got one request for you. If this video brought any inspiration or helped you think of new ways to organize your day, hit that like button and share it with someone who might benefit from these ideas. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any future content. Here, we'll continue exploring ways to improve our lives in simple but effective ways every day. And remember, if you want to achieve your goals, it's crucial to build a routine that challenges you and helps you grow. Change starts with you. So don't waste time waiting for motivation to come. Create it, experiment, and be patient with yourself. Until next time, everyone. Thank you for watching, and let's keep moving forward on this path of evolution and achievement. Peace.